Thanks, Deputy. Deputy Sean Kenny. The Deputy is 5 minutes.
This bill addresses the commitment in the programme for government to legislate to regulate clamping. The impetus for this commitment stems principally from public concerns in regard to the activity of some clamping operators and the extent to which clamping may have sometimes been carried out in a less than fair manner, with no obvious, consistent or transparent recourse to appeal or against perceived abuses. The areas of greatest public concern relate to the level and variation in clamp release charges currently applied and the lack of a clearly identifiable and accessible clamping appeals process, and the oftentimes absence of appropriate information signage. There are also the issues with the manner of clamping practices on private land, and this really needed to be looked at and legislated for, and I think it's only right that the Oireachtas considered these matters and are now legislating accordingly. In December 2011, the Oireachtas Committee on Transport, of which I'm a member, met to discuss the issue of clamping. The committee considered a number of options which proposed to address public concerns in relation to the matter of clamping. These options included banning clamping, whether or not proposed legislation should be confined to clamping activities on private property only, or on both public and private property, or allowing clamping operators to self-regulate. The committee discussed the regulation of clamping activities and how this might be done. For instance, in introducing legislation, the primary focus should be on those individuals or companies undertaking the clamping activity, and alternatively, should the circumstances and requirements for the application of a clamp to a vehicle, should that be regulated instead? The issue of whether or not the related activity of towing should be regulated was also considered. The end result of these considerations was the recommendation that the National Transport Authority should be designated as a regulator for clamping activities, and that there should be a maximum permissible clamp release charges on private lands. As well as that, it was agreed that there should be a two-tier appeals process and an obligation to provide clear and prominent signage in areas where clamping is operated, as well as the establishment of codes of practice to provide practical guidance regarding compliance with the regulations. It was further decided that there should be regulations concerning how clamping operators identify themselves to the public, and that there should be appropriate penalties for breaches of provisions of the bill and regulations made under it. Most of these core suggestions arising from the considerations of the committee are clearly identified in the bill, and I commend the bill to the House. Thank you.